Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to today's live launch stream. Not only our first stream for season 2, but also our first simulcast. You can also find us streaming on YouTube and on the Steam store page today, so please go and check out those links. They've all got commands in chat. I'm sure the mods all know them and are spamming them at you. There will be a little bit of chat interaction here and there today, but we do have a pretty full agenda to get through, so there will be times when I'll look at chat and see the things that you're chanting in, spam the way you do. We'll look at that later. But we do have some things to get through first. So first of all, we're going to have Dan and Jonathan joining me. That's the creative director and the executive producer, joining me for a sort of introduction for new players. What is the Cycle Frontier? Season 2 is the ideal time to start playing if you didn't in Season 1. So we're going to do a little welcome in that section. Next up, Nathan, also known as Tsuji, the lead maps designer, joins us to talk about the maps. Of course, one of the big new features for Season 2 is a new map, so we'll be talking with Dan and Nathan. After that, Mando will be joining us, the well-loved Rumble, to talk about the activities and campaigns, how they've changed, what's there, what's new, what's been gotten rid of, since Season 1 to Season 2. And of course, Dan will be sitting with us through that one as well. Dan is going to stay in this spot on the sofa for most of these interviews, but we are going to switch him out. We are going to switch him out there because Jonathan will be joining Andrew, also known as Toast, our anti-cheat community manager, to talk about anti-cheat and all of that sort of good stuff. Lastly, Dan and Manda will rejoin us on the sofa to talk about the big reveal, the main end game mystery that we've been teasing for the last few weeks. And that will be towards the end of the stream, right before Jonathan joins us to wrap up. Now, I haven't even looked at chat. But I know giveaway is every third comment, right? We will give you more information about the giveaway later in the stream. In the meantime, check out our social medias. We've got commands in chat for our Twitter, our Reddit, and our Discord, which are the main places you can get information about the live game. And also, as of 7 p.m., as of the moment this stream started, we have a new sale live on the Steam store page. So head over there, go and check out the store page, check out the new sale. If we hit 2,000 viewers on Steam, we get bumped to the front page. So 3,000 I'm hearing 3,000. Everyone create new accounts, but don't cheat. And lastly, I'll also be talking about Season 2 drops as well towards the end of the stream. So without any further ado, and I hope you guys are ready, we're going to go over to Dan and Jonathan to talk about the Cycle Frontier and the new player experience. Dan, Jonathan, hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Not too bad. You guys look awake and fresh. Was the launch quite smooth?
It's not how I feel.
Same here.
Good. Well, good. That's for the best, I guess. So, obviously, as I said in the intro, Season 2, we've just had a wipe.
Yep.
Great time for new players to join. So if I was a new player coming to play the Cycle Frontier today, what can I expect?
Well, the Cycle Frontier is a free-to-play PvPvE high-stakes extraction shooter. And it's a game where you play as what we call a sci-fi prospector that goes down to a beautiful alien planet called Fortuna 3, which is full of riches, but also extreme danger. And you go down there, you can do missions for factions that are part of kind of narrative campaigns. You fight monsters, you find cool loot, you explore, and you of course also fight other players. And you always need to kind of be on your toes, because if you die, especially from a player, you lose all your stuff, they can take your stuff. You kill a player, you can take their stuff. And all of this is kind of our recipe for a game that is all about tension, drama, and kind of crazy player stories that have a lot to do with other players, what happens when you meet.
You can expect the best version of TCF, I think.
With Season 2?
Very short.
With Season 2, definitely.
Yeah, definitely a lot of iterations have happened in the last 3 months. 3-month turnaround for a lot of new content, a lot of changes.
Yeah.
So, people who are familiar with the extraction shooter genre, what's different about the cycle? How does it compare?
Spectacle.
Yeah, I think the spectacle is a big part. Like,
Yeah.
and this kind of starts with our another important piece of our recipe, which is our persistent matches. So instead of kind of waiting to matchmake to get into a full lobby, you drop into a world that is already full of action. Players are already there. Players come and go. So you get this kind of spectacle and drama from
The world's smallest MMO.
the world's smallest MMO,
Yeah.
and it's always being alive, and like evac ships leaving, drop pods coming down, laser drill platforms coming down, bosses spawning. So I think that's this kind of drama and yeah, spectacle, bombastic spectacle.
I think the other thing is the Prospector fantasy is pretty unique, and that's really interesting. You know, sci-fi prospecting is kind of cool.
I definitely think it is. And that's something I think. Speaking of, season 2 being the best version of the game, I think we're with the new map. That's something you get to do. You get to experience the kind of deepest part of that yet.
Yeah,
with really going to a place where other people haven't even been on this alien world.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, I'm a new player. I've just loaded up the game. How does it play? What do I do? I've just finished the tutorial. I'm now on the station. What next?
You press W to move forward.
I mean, so you want to do two things. You want to accept some missions and kind of think about what they are, and you want to gear up. So you want to make sure that you bring something decent. Maybe as a new player, you might want to think about, maybe I don't want to put my best gear on the line. Not that you would start with something really epic, but yeah, try your waters out. You drop down to the planet, and I think my main tip for new players is, coming from other shooter games, perchance, is to stop and listen. So audio is a really, really important part of the game. Always being aware of how much sound you're making when you're sprinting around and shooting stuff, but also listening to where other players are.
Yeah, be aware of the shift key.
Be aware of the shift key.
It's very dangerous, which is so different from many other battle royales out there and stuff like that, where you're just always sprinting around. But that is probably the main mistake, huh?
Yeah, giving your position up that way.
Yeah.
Whereas you want to be playing a lot with that kind of awareness and broadcasting, and deciding what you do with, when you hear someone sprinting around, is that maybe a message for you to run the other direction or to attack? It's really up to you and your playstyle and your current mission, for example.
And if you're a solo or a trio, because I've really changed. You can sprint around everywhere as a trio if you're confident.
Then you're full firepower.
Yeah, and it plays quite different. That's kind of the cool thing about it as well, is just how different the game is depending on if you're solo or duo or trio.
Yeah. And I think that's worth mentioning, the way you play through these campaigns, but it's up to you on every drop. Do you want to take on that mission alone or with a friend or even two friends?
So quite predetermined then? You get your missions, you go down, you do your mission, you leave.
Well, in a nutshell, I guess, but I think where the not so predetermined part comes to, what goes on the planet, because there it's, again, full of this, what we call tense uncertainty. That's one of our kind of pillars of the game, tense uncertainty.
Yeah, if you only say it 20 times, we've failed this.
Yeah, and how dynamic it is, right? Because it is really kind of incredible the first time you see like the drop pods coming down, the evac ships taking off, and it's just super dynamic. So you might go down with a kind of predetermined plan, but what you end up actually doing could be quite different, especially depending on what other players you come across.
Yeah. That's something.
Sometimes they're friendly.
Sometimes they're friendly, absolutely. Yeah. There's something we talk a lot about in the design team. You might start with a goal, but we want you to, come across things that might change your plans, whether it's an opportunity or maybe a problem. Often another player.
We used to, for like the last 6 years, we had this term, social emergent gameplay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we use it as much now, but it is kind of encapsulating that idea. So what's it, the other stories? What's the players who? What's
the sentence I like? The best stories are those shaped by other players.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
I think it's just more meaningful to interact with the player than an AI often.
Yeah. So predetermined plan on the station, yes, won't turn out like that down on the surface.
Yeah, of course. You find that one item that's like worth everything, and suddenly you trust no one.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're collecting gear, right, and gearing up. Once I've got legendary gear, I'm a Giga Chad, and everyone should fear me.
Well, I mean, Depends on where you go. I think there are areas that would put that gear to the test. And at the same time, you run into players with the same kind of gear and you lose it. So, if we did our jobs right, you can't really ever have enough of that gear.
Yeah.
And that's something we hoped also to add a big piece of with the new season is a map where the Giga Chads can go and duke it out.
Yeah, of course. So as a new player, if you do see a Giga Chad, I guess maybe can you take on if you a legendary gear player, you can take them
You
on?
can do it. Yeah, it's not that crazy, the scaling. It's also been something that, especially in the closed betas, you're kind of trying to get it right, trying to get a level right of how strong does it make you. There's reasons to make it really strong because it feels obviously great. It's so hard to get that stuff, and when you get it, you want it to be effective. And on the flip side, it's not nice to be on the receiving end though. So
Yeah.
I think we've hit a sweet spot now. We had quite a lot of discussions during the last season, season one.
I think we're closer than we ever were, but I'm sure one of those things we'll keep iterating on.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to get right.
That's another thing that I'm excited about with the new season, and I think we'll talk more about it later in the agenda. But let's maybe just foreshadow it with we're adding a kind of new way to look at gear, which maybe isn't all about how much damage are you doing, how much damage do you or how much defense do you have, but a new kind of...
He's whispering.
He's whispering. Oh yeah, he's trying to get more and more secret as he goes.
We'll talk more about it later.
So, regarding VoIP, because this is something that's been in our game from day one, right? Which is kind of different from others. It's sort of set a social expectation from people. Like, not everyone will be trying to take your head off straight away, right? How does that affect the gameplay loop? Like, as a new player, should I be asking everyone if they're friendly, or should I be a bit more cautious?
Naivety.
I mean, let's just say, if you go full friendly, you will not come out alive 100% of the time. Let's put it that way.
But you might make some friends.
You might make some friends, which is very meaningful.
Whereas if you never try to be friendly, it will be very difficult to make any friends. Yeah.
I can just recommend my playstyle, which is that it depends on my mood and my current, mission and gear. So there's some situations, for example, one of my favorites is, I might really want to evac, but my extraction point is way on the other side of the map. But I see a ship come down and asking them like, hey, can I jump on your evac ship? So that's, that's a situation where we both might not want to fight it out because our bags are full of loot. So I think it depends on the situation. So I just recommend use it as a tool.
That could also be a trap, right? If someone pulled an evac ship down just to get the friendly, hey, can I use your...
Absolutely. But it's that uncertainty that is so juicy. It's just...
I think, consider using push to talk. There was a player during season one whose cat gave him away. Like, the cat meowed. Did you remember that? And that was hilarious. That was such a funny moment. You got to be careful. Some people really use it as a weapon VoIP almost.
Yeah.
Like, really smart with it.
Some people run around playing disco music.
That's true. That's also great. I love that.
I approve of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did add a push to mute feature so you're DMCA free, everyone. Go nuts. I do prefer the sneaky chat. You can troll people as well, which is all the joy in the world.
Yeah.
So, we've just finished our Cataclysm events. We're heading into a wipe. For the new players in chat, what do these words mean?
Well, for some of the returning players also, I guess.
Yes, indeed. I mean, so Cataclysm was our event and kind of our way to end season one. So let people just experience the game with some crazy rule sets, have them, get to try out some legendary gear that, otherwise is quite hard to come by.
I mean, it's more storms, more meteors.
More craziness.
More spectacle, yeah.
And what happens now as we go into season 2 is then the wipe, which means that everyone starts on a clean slate as far as power gear goes. So you get to keep, your vanity, your aurum, which is the hard currency in the game, but anything that essentially makes you stronger and your progress in the campaigns, that gets reset.
Yeah, player quarters, did we mention?
Player quarters as well, yeah. And that means... what it means is that everyone starts again on a clean slate. They get to experience the kind of campaign, from the start, but then they also get to play the changes to them. and it's a pretty great place to start playing the game because you're all on the same on a similar level as far as gear goes.
So we've teased a little bit about the new stuff for season 2, but what with the wipe? Like, I guess the question is, what have we wiped away? What are we building towards now? Like, what's the end game for a new player? What are the events they can do? We don't need to talk about season 2 stuff just yet. New players, we can talk about the old stuff.
Yeah, I mean there are those 3 campaigns with the activities that are unlocked.
Yes.
So they're pretty awesome. So I think you mentioned the laser drill earlier. I don't know if everybody knows what that is, but imagine a flying oil rig.
Huge.
Yeah, and that's my favorite one, I think.
Yeah.
And then the oil pumps.
Yes, which
That's
is almost
another
like a
one.
smaller version of that, where you call down things from the sky.
Yeah,
Other people see it. It's their choice. Do you contest or?
you can have multiple of them going at once.
Yes.
Yeah, and you got to defend that area then from other players, and then the dungeon.
Yes, which is quite challenging.
Yeah, and
Quite
there's a big
challenging.
alpha crusher waiting at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still super impressed by the solo attempts of that.
Yeah.
Or successes of it actually.
Yeah,
Yep.
towards the end, I was watching some people speed running it, trying to get the record
It's
for the fastest
insane.
solo speed run.
Yeah,
trio
it's
speed
insane.
Run.
It wasn't really designed for solos of mine.
Right. I saw a bug as well where these mobs wouldn't stop spawning, and someone was trying to solo, and there was like, I think 50 ticks or something.
Oh yeah, I saw that one as well. Was that a feature though?
I think it was.
I'm pretty sure we added that.
The little multiplier if solo add more ticks.
Yeah, if a certain player.
So you mentioned that it is a free-to-play game. What exactly does that mean? So it's entered the free-to-play market. How do we? I guess what's the flow? How do we intend to monetize the game?
So it's we have a classic season pass, which is full of vanity. I think our pass now is a lot cooler than the first one as well. I think it's a lot of cool stuff in it.
Yeah, and also has the order in it. So if you buy the pass and then complete it, you'll be able to buy the next season's pass as well.
Yes.
So so it's a mixture of vanity, some gameplay stuff, but the other gameplay stuff's like gear, like weapon crates and stuff. But that's in the free track, so everyone's getting that. So so basically, we don't want to do pay to win at all.
Yep.
And so we got a lot of good feedback about the pass, and this one is better. Then there is the store with all the vanity.
Yep.
There's more of that than ever this time around.
Yeah.
We also have, I think, the first like One Piece costume as well. Yeah. This time around. And then there's the insurance, which we don't call insurance, we call
Gear salvage.
Gear salvage, yeah. And that just gives you a chance to get your loot back if nobody else takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then there are the crafting timers as well, which you can also skip for K marks, so the free currency. And it should be noted that we also have a generator in the player quarters where you can generate the cash currency, so the hard currency, Aurum. And so you can still use the gear salvage feature. So the idea was never to lock away features from players who don't pay, that there's this level playing field, and also just it's the right thing to do.
So nothing's locked away behind a paywall. Anyone can sort of play the game, learn to love it, and then when they love it, they can spend their hard-earned money to support the game.
Yeah,
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
right? Absolutely. And it would be remiss not to plug the Steam sale again at this point. Head over to the store page now. There is a link somewhere. Probably below this window, I hope, in whatever platform you're on. Go and check out the store page now, and thank you very much. Also, we've just got a message from our marketing director to make sure we are not pre-recorded. Flix, you are trash. Stop solo queuing.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I understand. I think that was a coded message, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so high stakes, PvP, free to play, extraction based,
Tense uncertainty and drama.
uncertainty and
Yeah.
drama.
With spectacle.
With spectacle, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I know we'll be speaking to you guys again very soon to talk about season 2, so I don't want to spoil too much of that. Is there anything else that you want to tell new players? Do you have any advice, any messages, words of warning or caution? What do you want to say to them?
Oh, what do I want to say to new players? I guess be patient, maybe, because it can be quite hard at the start, and but it's going to be worth it. So they have to keep at it, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, I wanted to say fortune favors the bold, but also be really careful and stop and listen.
Don't run and gun. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, honestly, I would say throw caution to the wind and push to talk with everyone. That's my advice.
That's good advice.
Learn to use it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Mold it. Become one with it. Okay, so I think we're getting ready to move on to the next section here. So let's start talking about giveaways. But before we do that, let's check in with chat and see what they're saying. Loop drop from player kills is 100%. Not much uncertainty there. Okay, well, first comment can't always be a good one, I guess. Scrat sounds quiet. Ugh. Better? I hope so. My message to new players is don't look for guns and weapon crates. Farm, focus ore, and buy guns from factions. That's pretty good advice, I'd say. It's pretty good advice. Rumble in chat, looking out. Bring back heavy melee. Okay, let's talk about the melee. I see that. I knew you were going to chant it at some point. So the melee is not a, well, it's not a bug. It's intended, but it is a little bit bugged. Essentially, what the intention was we were going to change the heavy melee so that you can cancel the melee and sprint away if you've made a bad decision. It didn't get included in the patch notes because it wasn't a bug. See where we're going with that? But it has also generated a small bug where sometimes when you do the melee cancel, you can't then melee again. We know about that one. We're looking into it. We'll iterate on this. The intention is to make it stop feeling clunky, and we will get there. Don't worry. Also, their intention will be to allow a heavy melee sprint again in the future. It's probably going to be a little bit slower, but it's all good. I'm muted. No sound.
Now it should be back.
Now it should be back. I see. I think the issue is when I lean forward and try and get intimate with you all, I move away from the mic. So I tell you what, we'll just roll it back. We'll go again, but I'll form a new position which is a little more mic friendly. So what I was saying was heavy melee, not a bug, intended, is a little bit bugged. You can cancel your melee now. It'll all be fine. Heavy melee sprint will come back in the future. It is intended. It will be a lot less clunky. Bear with us. We are aware. We have good intentions. All will be well. Let's talk about the giveaway. The giveaway right now is starting over on Twitter. There is a command !Twitter in chat to get our Twitter link where you can get the opportunity to win some packs. This one is focused on newer players, so if you've already bought all the starter packs, then this one might not be for you. Wait for the next giveaway. We're giving away 5 specialist packs, 1 initiate pack. So head over to Twitter now. I believe you will need to retweet the tweet, follow the channel, make a small sacrifice, sell your soul to the devil, and then you might get one of the giveaway items. So head over and do that now. As we are getting to Suji and Dan mic'd up, we are going to head into another little FMV for you. We have a gameplay footage trailer. which I believe we'll be sending live now. Hello and welcome back to the stream, everyone. So, the next section, as I mentioned earlier, next point on the agenda is maps. So we're going to be talking about the maps in Season 1. Obviously, the new feature that we revealed yesterday is a new map in Season 2 as well, so we'll be talking at that at length. But first, let's say hello to Dan and Tsuji.
Hello again, and
Hello.
hi, Nathan.
Hi, Dan.
I never know whether to call you Nathan or Tsuji, because I know a large portion of the population already knows you as
Yeah.
Tsuji, right?
Yeah.
So,
Whichever works.
yeah.
You don't have a preference?
No.
So we've started the stream talking to new players, so I think it only makes sense to carry on
Mm.
talking about what new players can experience, and obviously
Yep.
the first thing will be the Bright Sands map,
Yep.
right? Tell me about it. What can I expect? I'm a new player dropping onto the map.
It's an easier experience than what players will find later on in their journey. It's meant to get players familiar with the things that they're going to be doing repeatedly over and over, looting, shooting monsters, interacting with activities such as puzzles or minerals or other things, and
Players.
other players, obviously. And it's also got a little bit of a challenge there also for players who want to venture a little bit further into the map. The jungle was meant to be like one of those areas, the first like real challenges for the players. So.
And I guess in terms of just the world, I mean, if you drop down to Bright Sands as a new player, it's the first time you see Fortuna 3, which is this alien planet. So
Yeah.
it has a mix of kind of lush alien beauty even,
Yep.
and these kind of derelict, abandoned human structures, because humanity, we tried to colonize the planet, which went
Yeah.
well up until a point
Yeah.
when the storm, which the game is named after, the cycle hit, which forced them to evacuate. So it's this mix of kind of lush alien beauty and abandoned
Yep.
human structures kind of getting reclaimed by this
Yeah.
alien dangerous.
Yeah, and when you play through the campaign, you'll start getting some storytelling about like what the storm was, what happened to the people there, and lots of environmental storytelling. So.
Yeah, and how the factions kind of what they were doing on the planet,
Yeah.
what went wrong.
Yeah.
It's exciting to hear some buzzwords that I've heard around like the internal channels mentioned on stream, like
Yeah.
Environmental storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have it out.
I mean, I get paid every time I mention one of those buzzwords.
Do you want to just get like 10 out now? Or... No, it's okay. It's okay. So how much does the map play into the gameplay? So like if I do come across PvP with someone,
Yeah.
how much can I use the map to my advantage?
It depends, I suppose, on where you're going to find another player. I mean, of course, we've engineered the maps to try and play off a player's strengths in some situations. You might find yourself in like an open field, or you might look at that open field and I ain't crossing that shit. And then you might I'm in a close quarters area. Okay, I'm gonna bring a shotgun. WM plus mouse 1 my way through victory.
And I guess, I mean, I think map knowledge is
Yeah.
crucial when it comes
Yeah.
to what do you do with the information. If you
Yes.
hear, for example, gunfire or footsteps,
Yeah.
like, do you know
Yeah.
what routes you could potentially ambush them,
Yeah.
or what escape routes do you have if you were to get ambushed? So I think
Yeah.
map knowledge is definitely something
Yes.
that you want to build up on as a prospector.
And this is also something that we on the maps team have like worked into our level. It's like we didn't handhold players throughout the game. We literally went in. Of course, we literally went in. We went in and we built things that we knew that weren't obvious, but when you find them, you're gonna feel smart because okay, I found this. I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna use it to my advantage because that other player might not know about it.
It's almost like a piece of good gear, that knowledge that will
Yes.
help you forever once you
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take this opportunity to plug a little as well. I know that some of the partners that play the game, like when we give them like things like, hey, do you want to record this for launch day? I've already seen some of the videos that have gone out. They're like, okay, I found this route through here. I can see from here. I can jump to this ledge. Like that map knowledge is something that's really highly valued. So.
And what I really like that you guys did is also many of those routes and loot rooms are even secret.
Yes.
Like they're legit things you have to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So we talked a bit about Bright Sands. Now we play a few games. How do we put it in the game? We earn the faction's trust, and we move on to Crescent Falls.
Yes.
How do the two maps differ?
Well, Crescent Falls is considerably harder. It's you're gonna run into our marauders, our big blue scary berserker spitting enemies. This boyo. You're gonna run into that guy a lot more on the map, so you gotta learn how to fight that thing. Or more often than not, run from it if you're dipping your toes in the Crescent Falls. But more valuable map. There's certainly more challenging geometry in the level. I think when we first launched the map, the idea was like we really, really wanted to reward players not just for the map knowledge, but for long-term planning, right? It's like, okay, I spawned here, I want to go here, this is the route I'm going to take. Over time, we wound up softening some of those routes up so that like you could kind of go your own way, but you still needed to think a little bit more about where you were going. So yeah, we really wanted to emphasize map knowledge with Crescent Falls, and
it also has more, I think, like pure PvP hotspots.
Yes.
Where if you want to get the best loot,
yes. Places like Starport Admin, for example, is like one of those like really well-known hotspots in the level for finding the key cards or whatever things you really want to fight over. Right?
And close quarters combat.
Close quarters combat. Yeah.
It's also, I think, worth mentioning, a much larger map. Like it's a proper,
significantly larger
open world map to explore. It's,
yeah, I think in area, in like dimensions wise, it's not that much bigger than map 1, Crescent Bright Sands, but in actual area, because of how math works, it's like almost twice as big.
Yeah, and player count. Almost twice.
Player count is 24 now.
Something like that.
Yeah, 24.
So more active, bigger, dangerous. Scarier monsters.
Yeah. You're really gonna have to bring all your skills that you learned in Bright Sands and
your gear.
And your gear. And use them.
Yeah. So obviously there's been tons of design work put into this. It's obvious that it's a well thought out thing, how people are going to use the map, where they're going to traverse, what story they're going to uncover. Has there ever been any scenarios where the way the map is used has surprised us? Any like people doing things that completely were not expected?
Like getting up on top of places that they weren't supposed to get up on top of? Yes.
Never.
Like getting on top of a warehouse and we think we fix it and then they find another way and then we think we fix it and then they find another way and then we're like whatever.
I quit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'd say watching streams for you must be like a tense sort of like oh, I'm just gonna enjoy this. Ah, damn it.
I mean, it's kind of become a bit of a meme where it's like I'm watching streams and I'm just watching people abuse the map and I'm like,
every time you climb on warehouse roof.
It's like I will remember to fix that point one of these days.
So we've talked about map 1 and 2. Obviously, the big selling point for season 2 is the new content in map 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, we also want people to discover it a bit for themselves.
Yes.
But what can we tell them? What can we tell them about map 3? What can you expect when we drop down? How does it compare size-wise, player base-wise for a start?
It's a physically smaller map, but in some ways it's I don't want to say it's bigger. What can we say without giving away the game?
I mean, let's put it this way. When we were starting to think about, what we want to do with map 3, when we were talking in the beginning, we said, okay, we had 2 goals. We want this to be the hardest map, and we want it to be the tensest map we've ever built.
Yeah.
Like the tension that we talked about, the tense uncertainty. We wanted to build a map that takes that to the next level.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of took that
And
came back with map 3.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, let's just try the craziest ideas we can come up with, and it actually, like, some of them actually worked out quite well.
I think so. Yeah. No. So basically, I mean, what we got so excited about after that initial brainstorming was this idea of, you're playing a prospector, of taking it down into a cave system and uncovering kind of pieces of lore about the alien mystery and the alien structures that you find on the other maps and their purpose and what's gone on the planet before humanity even found it.
Yeah.
And that kind of led to then this idea of an island where you go deeper and deeper into a cave system.
Yeah, and you go into an area that, like, humans haven't really gone to before. I don't want to spoil the lore, but I think the idea that we wanted for players to have is that we wanted players to feel like they were the ones, like, exploring the depths of Theros Island. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of that in some of the content that I've seen, and we are being secretive for the benefit of the newer players. We're not fools. We're very well aware that some streamers have already unlocked everything, as they always will.
As they do.
They do.
We'll try and maintain the mystery and pretend they haven't for a little while longer for our own sanity's sake.
Yeah.
But I really get the impression that the dark spaces and a lot of the content I've seen is quite people diving deeper, trying to find their way around and ultimately getting lost, and sometimes just dying with no one else or any AI involved, which I think is wonderful. Is there anything that you've seen since with the servers have gone live yesterday? Obviously they only went live yesterday, and we had an interesting day, shall we say?
Yeah.
But is there anything you've seen that surprised you so far?
I mean, I guess I was a little shocked at how fast some people got there, but I also not at the same time.
No. Nothing has really surprised us, to be honest.
Okay.
Not with map 3 at the very least.
But I guess it's still to come, right? Most people are still working on unlocking it. So I think the real Theros Island,
the real
happy, scary, fun time is yet to come.
When people start flooding the map, it's gonna. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, in my opinion. You heard it from Tsuji's lips. Show me what you got. I've not seen anything to surprise me yet. The challenge is out there, content creators. What can non-new players look forward to? What is it that they are going to be searching for? And I realize this is a loaded question. Without giving too much away.
In a new player in Theros Island, what can they expect?
Like players just start playing the cycle, but they unlock the map.
They unlock
okay, I'm going
maybe
in.
not today, not yesterday, 4 days time, maybe.
They're going to find a map that plays nothing like the other two. It really does play completely different than the other two. You're going to have to learn a new bag of tricks for this map.
Yeah, close quarters, higher challenge, light and darkness. So bring a flashlight is my tip to a new player just going for the first time to Theros Island.
Dangerous navigation. Imagine finding this guy in a tight room. Like, go into your closet and imagine this guy's in here with you. Like, yeah.
Hello.
I think something that I'm also excited about is how we send players between the 3 maps. So there's a little bit more, you want to later in the campaigns. Well, we'll talk more about that later, where we have you go. So we don't want you to just play map 1 and then map 2 and map 3, but we want people to go back and forth between the 3.
Yeah, and that, I mean, a lot of that plays with, like, for example, our activity systems. Like, we intentionally didn't put some activities inside of Theros Island so that there would be a reason to go back to the other maps.
Yeah, of course, because we don't want the other maps to be completely unpopulated, right? There's still
Exactly.
if someone joins halfway through the season, they're still going to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Obviously, the new map as well has some effects on the gameplay. We won't talk about all of them, but one thing that we do know about is the Void, right? Which has a
Yes. This is a new one for us.
yeah.
So-
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Okay, so the Void is in Theros Island. I guess we'll give away something. Is there are bottomless pits in Theros Island, and it came out of a necessity rather than it was like, oh, let's do a Void kind of a decision making. We were like, okay, we have bottomless pits, but we also don't want people being, oh, I'm just going to get my insurance back and not fight this guy. Let me just go jump in the pit, right? So we're like, okay, we don't want that behavior. So we had to come up with this idea of the Void, where it was, okay, if you fall, your insurance is completely voided. So no trying to cheese the system to get your gear back with no I want to say tension, but that's the wrong word. No risk.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And obviously, there's other things that affect gameplay as well, but we'll touch on those a little bit later.
Maybe I think there's one thing that is worth mentioning is the new. I mean, as a prospector, you're often one of the things you do a lot is mining.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we've added, we kind of similarly as how we came up with the map. We have an idea of what map we're building. We took that to the activities team, as we call them, and said, how can you support this, the map that the maps team are building? And they came up with this new mineral that projects light. So it'll be often your only source of light in a dark part of the map, for example. And as you mine it, the light goes off. So it has this interesting effect of it's a choice, and whether you want darkness or not depends on your current situation and whether another player is nearby. Do you have a flashlight and all of these things? So I think that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing how that will affect, especially PvP.
Yeah.
So it's no secret that I am a complete rat player. I solo, hide in the corner, big come-ups with a wet work if possible player.
Sit in a bush and go, psst.
Yeah. Wait for someone to come along and be like, yeah, no, he's looking at you now, and wait for them to freak out. That's my play style. What's my experience going to be like on map 3?
You're probably going to have fun at first, and then people are going to get wise, and then you're not going to have so much fun.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think, you know what? I think it will be. I think it will be fun, but you're gonna have to master light and darkness. I think that's. I mean, I think that can be a rat's friend as well, but you have to learn what to do with it. I think
it can be. I think that it was intentionally set up. It's not like we blanketed entire areas in darkness. It was like, okay, I'm gonna make this corner over here dark, specifically, so it becomes a learning experience. It's like, okay, a rat could or could not be in that corner, and the people who are coming into the level, that the Chads, they'll be like, okay, I really should check that corner every single time I come in that room, but that one time he forgets to check the corner, oh, there's a rat there, and that's intentional.
Yeah, and it will be me.
that's when you strike.
Yeah, that's the time. They didn't check their corners.
Yeah.
Time to strike. But then for the other people who do like to play, I don't want to say properly, but want to gear up and
Ratting is proper.
yeah, I do sometimes feel like when I rat,
debatable.
I completely avoid the whole like gear chase like point of the game. I'm just there with my knife, like hello. But like all I'm saying is I'm not going to be OP as a rat, right? In the dark and hiding in the shadows.
No. You have to be a Chad to be OP on Theros Island.
And I just want to also mention that you can rat with gear. That's what I do. I sit there with good gear and a shotgun, but you do you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
So maybe that's what you have to do then. For Theros Island, you might have to up your rat game.
Up my
You don't
rat
have to
game.
stop being a rat, but you might have to up it.
Okay, so we need to start rat training camps on Faris Island. We'll be running them from this time until this time. Okay. So we've kind of talked about everything, right? We've talked about maps 1 and 2. We've talked about map 3. We've talked about new players. We've talked to existing players. Is there anything that you would like to say to the people watching right now today in season 2 about the maps related, maybe about Taros Island, or anything that we've touched on so far? Anything left unsaid?
Well, I suppose one of the big things is we would like to communicate, or at least I would like to communicate, is that we're keeping a very close eye on how Theros Island develops, especially how the PvP goes. And it's not a done deal, the map structure, that is. I'm very aware that like there's probably going to be a lot of BS in the maps and like probably some things that we want to change, and we're going to be very open to feedback regarding this. So
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as
Yeah.
players get to it.
Cool.
I guess I just want to mention, that something we'll talk more about later in the stream is, why are you going deeper and deeper? And that's then comes to this thing that we'll talk more about later, that there is a kind of climax of this alien mystery leads to a secret that you get to uncover that affects your gear chase in new ways.
Yeah.
But enough about that for now.
Yeah, I think those are both great things to highlight, though, that we're always developing, right?
Yeah.
Always developing. Nothing's ever set fully in stone,
Exactly.
and there's always something else to look forward to. What great things to finish a segment on. So, as we come back, chat, we're going to head into the next segment soon. That's which is about campaigns. Mando will be getting mic'd up and joining us. However, before we do that, let's not lean out of the mic range again. Yeah, okay, hang on. Can we do something? Mic's already in shot, right? You all know it's here, so I'm just going to move it around a little bit. Maybe I could do it. Hang on, why don't I just... Yeah. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the giveaway. We're going to talk about the giveaway very soon. The next giveaway will be more designed for all sorts of players, not just new players, but players old and new. And but before we do that, let's have another little check-in with with Map. Bit too loud. I'm leaning too fast. Yeah, I know. The sound engineer is probably sitting at home going, "Scrat, would you put the mic down for the love of?" But I wanted to sit forward. You know what I mean? I wanted to sit forward. Can you talk about how many of us can't play and how to fix the problem of not being able to start the game? Make sure you've got the latest updates, I would say, and head over to the Discord. Our community team are working tirelessly. We are aware that the launch was not without incident. Some of it was on us, some of it was also on some of our hosting services. Unfortunately, it's kind of unavoidable. Whenever you have a patch and we introduce the amount of content that we introduced, there's going to be issues that come with that. We are working on them. Just make sure that your issue is known somewhere. Make sure that someone has reported it. Don't just sit quietly and think that we're not doing anything. Make sure that it's known. And once you know that it's known, we will fix it. We will fix on it. Scrat won't read this. Hey, Dilbo, good to see you. So, the next giveaway. This time we'll be giving away 5 veteran packs, 20 Fortuna survival packs, and you can get both of those things if you head over to Twitter. Once again, the next giveaway should be going live on Twitter right around now. So head over there, 5 veteran packs, 20 Fortuna survival packs, and you will be needing to retweet the tweet, probably shout out the live stream. Maybe you might need to watch on Steam for 5 or 10 minutes or something, and we've got a sale on Steam right now, so it's very worth doing that. Again, if we can get enough people looking at Steam, then who knows? Maybe there'll be sunshine and rainbows somewhere on the front page. I see Spud in chat as well. Good to see everyone. So. I think now that I've removed the mic, I'm just going to have to go with this for the rest of the thing. Didn't really think that through, but here we are now. Joining us on the couch to talk about the campaigns is Mando, and of course Dan is still keeping this seat plenty warm. So welcome, Mando, or more affectionately known as Rumble, right?
Can people hear me, see me?
Yeah, they should be able
Hi,
to see
where-
your
what-
beautiful face.
Which camera? This one?
This one.
Hi.
Please look into camera number 3.
Good to be here.
Good to be here. Mando, remind us, what do you do?
I'm game designer on the activities team, which means that I'm in charge of... So the core of what I do is really just giving players cool shit to do on the planet. Making them feel like prospectors, the mining, the evac, like the storm. All of that stuff is my responsibility. And recently, more prominently, it's becoming more and more important, obviously, the campaigns, which have sort of become the main progression backbone of the game, little by little. as some of you might remember, a while ago, not too long ago, we only had the jobs, and then we established the campaigns as, hey, we can make players live a little journey with this. So that's more and more becoming my focus.
Yeah.
I like that job description. Give
Thank
players cool stuff to do on the planet.
That's
That's
my
pretty
go-to
much
sta-
it.
Yeah.
I know what makes people live cool moments on the planet, and that's what I try to do.
What an awesome thing to specialize in, right? It's like,
I know it's a fairy tale.
yeah, it's a gold job to just to describe.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've introduced tons of content in the space of 6 months. What's that been like from your point of view?
A lot of caffeine, a lot of some sleepless nights, but mostly, I mean, it's cool stuff we added. So I'm still pretty excited to add all of this, but mostly I can only speak from my personal perspective. We've added quite a bit of new campaign content. We've added new quest lines. I don't know if we want to get into that already, or if we should I get into that?
No, we'll come to that.
Yeah, we're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
So we've added,
we've
we've
got
added
plenty of time.
some new new meat to the campaigns, some new tofu to the campaigns, and people have more to do, and I'm really excited about all of it, honestly. The new map is obviously a big part of it, and we've also done improvements to existing stuff, and just juice things up a little bit, making it all a bit better.
So we kind of started talking about like the basic loop earlier.
Yes.
So campaigns, right? I just drop down, grab gear, leave.
Ideally, yes. If there weren't the 80 things trying to kill you on the planet. No, but so at their very core, the campaigns are quite simple, actually. Most of the missions you will receive are quite simple. It's mostly the factions going like, yo, can you deliver this item? Like, it might be something generic, like materials. It might be something more unique, like a special item that we made specifically for a mission. Visit this location, kill some players, kill some creatures. So most of it is very simple on paper. But where it gets really interesting, and I know that's one of Dan's favorite topics as well, is like all the unpredictable stuff that happens as you go after these objectives. So it might be just, you look for optic glass and you visit like Science Campus 3 times to look for that stuff. But 2 times out of 3, there's another player waiting there, maybe looking for the same thing you are, maybe just looking to kill you, maybe just hunting creatures there for a completely different mission, all kinds of stuff.
That's one of my favorite parts of what the campaigns do to the game, or the missions in general, I suppose, is that you get players in the same area with completely different goals, and that might, your motivations might overlap then in completely unpredictable ways that lead to friendliness, temporary friendliness, a lifetime friendship, or fighting it out to the death, or just accepting each other, but like keeping a close eye on the other while I'm mining and Mando is killing monsters.
Cold War, yeah. It just gives a frame of motivation to whatever players might do, and where these motivations like collide with each other, that's where it gets really interesting.
That's where the juice is.
And do you like design that in, like when you're thinking of the campaigns, do you like have like, I don't know, a spreadsheet somewhere which is like how many quests affect the dig site, or is it more of a shotgun approach?
So yes and no. I have a lot of context data available from level design, from loot team, for example, on what will be found where, and for example, the point of interest on the map, right? There's the narrative side of it, right? There's the East Collection Point, which is narratively a correlative point of interest, but it also has an assigned tier or difficulty. So you don't want to send players there super early. You don't want to send them there too late. You want to, ideally keep players in a sort of a difficulty increase that is nice for them. And that's the kind of stuff where it's important that I talk to level design. The core of being a game designer, in my opinion, is communication and collaboration. And so it's really important that I talk to level design a lot, that I talk to the loot people a lot, and that I basically make sure that everything works in the end, because otherwise I'm the one that's going to get yelled at by community if there's a mission that's just too difficult or just too grindy, or because the AI doesn't respawn there because it turns out that players spawn there. That kind of stuff happens all the time. And it will happen again, and I'm sorry in advance. But it's just, that's basically at the core of what I do.
So obviously we're talking kind of historically and generally, but we've just released a new season.
Yes.
So how have the campaigns changed ready for this season? from a design point of view, from general approach?
So, sadly, I am only one person. So considering how much new content I added for season 2, I wasn't able to do much more on the existing campaigns than work on some worst offenders. Look here and there at okay, which are the missions that players really complain about a lot, and I took a look at them and I improved them here and there. I did turn some bobs and bits, made some things clear that were really confusing previously. So I did mostly that on our existing campaigns, but I also obviously just expanding with a whole new section of the game. That's all I'm gonna say for now. That took most of my attention, but I did make sure to at least the worst offenders that I was aware of were addressed to be a little bit less annoying, and I'll keep doing that every season.
Yeah, I mean, what we've talked a lot about, which I think exactly what addressing those worst offenders, as we call them, leads to, is a little bit less repetition and a little bit more actually getting challenged to do a new thing. And that's something I think is already improved. We improved it during season 1, we improved it again for season 2 now, and we have a lot more plans for a lot more variety in tasks for later. So it's something we continue to improving on.
Yeah, it's going to be a big focus for season 3 as well.
Yeah.
One thing, apart from reducing repetition a little bit, that I would like to do is go back and increase the density of more unique missions a little bit in the early stages, because we built the campaigns and then we came up with these unique missions that ask for unique items and unique locations.
And a little bit more narrative depth, basically.
And that are a little bit sexier on a narrative level, and we sprinkled them in equally. And now we're adding a new batch that is more centered around this unique stuff. And now in comparison to the new missions, which you will all get to experience very soon, the existing campaigns seem a little bit low in terms of unique stuff.
Because we got a lot of good feedback on those more narrative, unique missions.
People
Players
love
really like
them.
Yeah, I remember seeing a lot of people commenting on about how much they enjoyed them. I remember seeing you in chat at the same time, actually. So
we hang out in chat a lot.
I love meeting other Jaegerians late at night in some random stream.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate it. I need my anonymous account.
So we talk a lot about smoothing out the quality of life and removing annoyance. Is there ever a time when you're designing a thing and you sort of think, oh, this will get them? This is going to be a hard one.
The dead drops, for example. I mean, dead drops are highly controversial, but I think they're controversial in the right way. They're controversial because they get you out of your comfort zone so effectively, and they force you to, learn aspects of the game so effectively that and engage with the high risk nature. Because even if you're a rat like I am, that doesn't like to risk stuff, that likes to just sit in a bush with a trench gun or whatever, you're forced to bring in the stuff that I ask you to bring, or that we ask you to bring in. So, and that forces you to live the high risk life.
You get the tension, which is
for a brief
what
moment.
the game is all about.
Yeah. And just to confirm, another rat that takes gear in. Okay, I'm alone.
Yeah.
What,
Gear ratting is
a
where
trench gun counts as bringing in gear?
I don't even take a backpack.
Scrad, we need to pimp you out a little bit.
If I get a backpack in a raid, I've won it.
Emergency, like the rusty emergency backpack. No, but there was one situation where I knew that there would be I knew that I as a player would hate the dead drops and would feel trembling there. But that's cool. It's some people hate the PvP missions.
Of course,
we have people inside the company that are like, no, you should not be forced to PvP through missions. Yeah, but we're gonna have to force everyone outside their comfort zones a little bit. Otherwise, it's meaningless.
I think there's a balance there, where you don't do it so much that it's off-putting, but still oh shit, I'm not so good at that, but I think I could do it. That's where we want you.
And then most importantly, when you do overcome it,
it's so good.
That is the best feeling that video games have to offer ever.
Yeah. I must admit, I've been in that position. I remember the season 1 swamp grenade stash.
You're welcome.
I remember thinking
Rumble's gift to Scrap.
Do I take all 4 grenades now? Do I just take one at a time? Do I try and just kill someone and hope they have grenades?
Which strategy did you do?
I tried all of them.
Which
None of them.
strategy?
I wanted to say
strategy.
I was waiting for you.
First.
Oh no, that's gonna become a stream at some point. Isn't it? Strategy tips with Scrap.
That was a risky strategy.
Oh god. So let's talk a little bit about the factions. So obviously the campaigns are based around the factions.
Yes.
What's the benefit of upgrading different factions?
I mean, for you as a player, it's your main way of unlocking new gear. So especially weapons, you unlock the right to purchase from them by gaining reputation. But so that's the kind of gameplay advantage. But apart from that, there are ways to guide you through the whole game narratively, and through this kind of pretty unique world that we've built. And that's something we continue with Ares Island, where the factions kind of guide you through this mystery and have you unravel it piece by piece.
And there's a little bit of a difference between a faction standing and your progress through the campaigns. So there's the faction standing, with your reputation with a faction, how much the faction likes you in general. And the campaigns are the prominent way to progress that, obviously, or to increase that. But the standing in general is a little bit more freeform. And in theory, you could increase it just by selling stuff to the factions. And that is how you gain access to new guns. And the campaigns on the other side are a little bit more flexible. It's like, oh, here's a new map that you unlocked because you worked enough for that faction. Here's a new crafting recipe in the workbench. Here's a new meds that you can buy at the faction quick shop now, which you couldn't before. So basically, it's our way to give players really cool progression milestones and make them ideally get to the point where, by choosing which missions, and this is just feel free to disagree, this is just my personal dream a little bit, but they ideally get to a point where the choice of which missions you do and which missions you focus, etc., is going to shape really what kind of prospector you become within a wipe. So I might run around and see Dan, and Dan is mining minerals that I cannot mine because I didn't do that annoying Corlev quest line. And I see you running around catching butterflies that I don't even see.
Without a backpack.
Without a backpack.
Nothing but that.
The things Scrat does on Fortuna, that I can't even see because you worked for Osiris and you got the visor that allows you, whatever. And I have access to guns that you guys don't have, and I can use traps to cover the ground behind me, whatever. Really meaningful choice in not just how you do the missions, but which missions you do and what you unlock, blah, blah, blah.
So basically make it a bit of a point of player expression.
Yes, yes. And also this will make wipes extremely replayable. Because while you might have been an aggressive botanist, a Chad botanist, catching the fattest butterflies in one wipe, you might become just a scavenging little little rat scurrying around the map in the next wipe, just specializing in these things is going to be really interesting in my opinion.
So how much of that is in the game now? If I focus Osiris, will I be the best rat? If I do Korolev, will I be a trio player? What?
So we're taking baby steps there, and we're probably not taking them fast enough, but we are making progress when it comes to for example, if you focus Osiris, you're going to get access to better meds. You're going to get access to the green stims, which is very attractive to a lot of players. You're going to get access to, I think, different restoration armor, and you get access to a different IMA at the end of the campaign, obviously, which will allow you to craft different stuff late game, blah, blah, that kind of stuff.
IMA is our internal word for
Right.
in-match activity, so that's what we're talking about before the laser drill and this.
Yeah, I'm talking about the dungeon in this case, sorry.
It's okay. We don't let Rumble speak to people very often. It's always a risk.
Fair enough.
So, talking of not taking steps fast enough, I'm going to contradict you because obviously for season 2 we've just launched a huge new piece of content in map 3.
Yes.
How has that affected the campaign design?
More. We've added more quest lines.
Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you. Bye-bye. No, it's so the way I see it, seen from a higher level, I think there's a bit of an ecosystem of maps we should start to gravitate towards, where a certain player type gravitates towards one map and another player type gravitates towards blah, blah, blah. And I think map 3 or Thyros Island, sorry, is going to be an important entry in that ecosystem, because I still see too many absolutely geared giga chads running around the swamps of map 1, which is, even matchmaking topics aside, it's just not where the action should be for them, in my opinion. also making it a more meaningful like question which map to drop to, and all of this is going to be more and more interesting. But in general, when it comes to the campaigns, it's really it's an endgame map, and we send you to do endgame challenges. As I mentioned before, it's a little bit higher in terms of unique stuff because we had the capacity to do it this time, and we knew how much players love them, so we just went and did it and added more unique stuff. So the new missions are going to be really, really, really narrative heavy, and are going to be a lot more about like exposing to you what happened on Theros Island and what Theros Island is about, and what the factions also are about. And for the lore junkies, also when it comes to our faction motivation, like what do the factions want? It's juicy. It's really, really juicy this time.
Would that be like an overarching season approach? Is like more storytelling, more juice?
I mean, I think it's something that for the people who want it, yes. Basically, I think we have an approach where there is a lot to dive into if you are so inclined. But if you want to run in and
just kill people,
shoot stuff, and shoot people, take their stuff, that's okay too. But we take our world very, very seriously, and we're quite proud of the universe that we've created. So I think us being able to expand on that for the players who really, really want to go into detail helps, yeah.
Although I do want to clarify that it's not the plan, at least from my side. I don't know about you, but I don't intend to add a fuck ton of new missions every season. I think there's a sweet spot in terms of how many missions there are in the game, how many hours it takes to complete.
Yep.
That we are pretty much already like almost stretching, I would say, in some regards. So I find it much more interesting to just keep iterating on what is there and improve it, make it better, make it nicer, make it easy, more easy to understand, and all of this. So I will not be adding new quest lines every single season. But I will continuously iterate, or we will continuously iterate on the campaigns based on player feedback and players based on data and our intentions.
Yeah. One of the things that we were talking about in the last interview with Nathan is that already people are on map 3. Are you surprised at the speed of progression?
I expected 48 hours, not 24. That was my guess. But I mean so with the nature of the game we're making, there's always going to be a few people who just are insanely fast and who just hard focus, who just all the stars align, and they just get to end game really, really fast. I don't think that should be our measuring stick for where we are in our balancing. I think it's more important to look at the average player and to really listen to what does the core of the community think, because I know that it's going to play vastly differently for the majority of the people, and I think it would be naive to like now jump to like, oh, chap has like a full stash of stuff that I don't want to talk about now. I watch the same streams as everyone else here watches, and I'm fully aware of what's going on. I'm not super surprised. I'm not super worried either. Yeah, it's the nature of the type of game we're making, and I think it's going to be really interesting to hear what the mass says, what the average player says.
Yeah,
that's
was definitely something we learned from season 1, how much the whole game changes as the season continues, with people unlocking new stuff.
And do you see that in the feedback as well through the season, how it sort of like changes when, like, obviously I suppose first you get like the hardcore players, the streamers, first couple of weeks giving you tons of feedback about new content, then it changes mid of the season?
It kind of does, and it's something we have to watch really closely, especially for weapon balancing, how we had the kind of the meta as far as weapon goes develop over the course of the season, which I think is a cool thing, actually.
Yeah. We had like in week 2, it was like the Bulldogs breaking the game. 1 week later, no one was running the Bulldog.
They unlocked the next thing, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a lot of streamers in like week 2 or 3, I think, running the Phasic for the mid-range advantage.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the season, it was like Shuttergun OP,
like Nerf Advocate. Like,
yeah.
And my favorite type of feedback that when it comes to like how feedback evolves throughout the season was like early season people saying like, I can't believe they're gonna wipe this. What would it mean wipe? Like I'm still progressing. Am I even going to finish the campaigns? Like, and the same people like a week ago were like, "Can you please just wipe already?" That's my favorite type of feedback. Yeah. But yeah, so it changes a lot throughout the game.
And am I right in thinking I saw on the Fortuna Pass 125 days is a little bit longer this time? Well, we'll use that as a segue to talk about the
Sorry,
Fortuna
Minish,
Pass.
no speaking no English.
So obviously
I have no
the Fortuna Pass is linked to progression though, right? People progress, they gain XP similar to faction XP. Might
Yeah.
need you to run me through this.
You get Fortuna Pass XP by doing certain good things, like completing your contracts, upgrading your quarters and so on.
But if you do bad things,
Then we wipe your account.
And what you get, I think, you get a lot of vanity, but you also get stuff that might be useful in gameplay. So one of the things I'm most excited about unlocking in the Fortuna Pass this season around is certain items that might be useful down on Theris Island.
yeah, we've got some of the items on screen now. Actually, we have a little slideshow covering my seat. So I am currently the Vine. Like, is that the Vine advocate?
You need to do like a caress. It's next to you.
So we can sort of give a preview of some of those things. I really hope that one's animated because I know the magma in that one moves and that's really cool. I think it's actually a still image, but I saw someone on. I didn't see it until it was released, and I thought it was really cool looking through the Fortuna Pass assets.
The basilisk looks really, really nice.
The ice beam one,
The
glacial.
glacial.
Oh, the glacial. Yeah, yeah. You can give people a glacial.
Didn't want to say.
We said it live. It's good. So obviously we've just had a wipe. Cataclysm. This is you, Rumble. You're responsible.
I was I was part of the initial proposal. So when we decided, okay, we need to do something. We don't have a lot of resources. We're focused on season 2, but we need to do something at the end of the wipe to just get people excited a little bit, give people something to mix things up a little bit, something to look forward to, talk about the game again. I was basically the person that wrote up a lot of like, hey, this is what we could do. And I basically wrote a proposal for what is roughly the Cataclysm event, and then I disappeared into new quest lines, bug fixing land, and left it to other designers on our team to worry out to iron out the details and implement it, etc. So yeah, I played early. I played a big part in it. When it comes to the bugs and things that were weird, that is not my fault.
Okay. So hands off. No.
No.
How do we think it went? The Cataclysm event. Are we happy with the results?
I mean, I'm super happy with that we kind of dared to just change things up, because I think we want to be doing events, and I think the first step in us doing great events is just doing an event. So I think we got a lot of good feedback, and I think what was so great about it was that a lot of it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it less so, and that's great because that's learnings we take into the next one. So I think in terms of that, it was a very successful event.
Yeah, I think in terms of bang for buck, especially considering how the resources we put into it. Because I just want to clarify again, even while we were designing and implementing the event, the very clear focus was season 2 and anti-cheat measures.
Yeah,
like the straight up, like not even close in terms of priority. And we still just managed to deliver something that I just join. Flotsam's stream and I just hear him casually say, "Oh, I missed the PvP from Cataclysm. It was so much fun." Like, so I think we can be super proud. Obviously, not everything was like. It's easy to miss details when you have like a week to build something like that. Like the
and your head is in like 2 other seasons at the same time.
Yeah,
and,
we're talking about season 3 and 4 internally right now. So
it's been a pretty crazy time.
Yeah, I need a vacation. But yeah, like stuff like the stack sizes on the strange meteor cores, that happens. It's fine. And again, we're sorry. We're just humans. We'll fix it. Next events will be better because we did this event.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that seems like also quite an easy kind of fix for the next time. It's like a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
One of the things that I particularly liked was some of the, obviously not everyone loved it as we've already said, but some of the feedback we did get from the people who did enjoy it was that they were learning to use the storm differently, learning how to track people with lightning, and
I didn't even know about that.
right. Yeah, it's
Did you know about this?
Yeah.
People, there's a distinct like audio difference when it comes to the tracking lightning versus the environmental lightning.
Yep.
It's like that shit is
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Give players a game. It's amazing to see what they come up with, and also
Yeah.
it created a lot of new PvP, right? Because even like you say, we didn't put we put just about an adequate amount of like time into this to focus on season 2,
Yeah.
but still we added like new focal points, new ways to get gear. It was
Yeah. And that's something that people really seem to enjoy, to get to toy around with some of that legendary gear, just to see,
And
change
as
things up.
and as I said, like next events are going to be much better, much nicer, much cooler, because we hopefully won't be as busy building the fundamental game anymore. Like
Yeah.
as time progresses, we'll be able to do cooler stuff. So if Cataclysm comes back, who knows? Maybe in a cooler form with more stuff, more cool everything.
absolutely. So I think we can chalk this one as a success. That's how I feel about it. Sure, it wasn't 100% success, but still, GG's all around. So before we start thinking about the next segment or anything, I'm getting word in that the chat are asking about Faris Island being too OP. There's a lot of people that are pumping out rewards that they've got from Faris Island on stream and stuff. Can we get a comment from you about that, Dan?
Yes, so it's something we were chatting about actually just before this stream as well. So we're monitoring the situation. Obviously, like, we're putting out a new map with the new mechanic that affects gear. It is of course going to get more difficult to get your hands on this as more players unlock the map, because it's not quite yet this PvP endgame map that we intended to be. That said, we are also gonna talk about, is it in a good place at all, when it comes to, basically it comes down to risk versus reward. Is it perfect? Probably not, and we are on it. I think that's what I'd like to say about that.
What he said.
Well, he said.
So it'll be more dangerous as far as PvP goes, and the rewards will be too.
Yeah, I suppose the other thing, because one of the things that we just mentioned was about how in the first couple of weeks, the hardcore players, the streamers, they've already unlocked everything, and the new players are still tying up their shoelaces. So I suppose the disparity between what is available for some players and what other players have might be overwhelming.
Yes, and that's exactly what we were talking about. I think we might have some ways to smoothen that disparity out a bit. So that's kind of the direction we're thinking.
Shrouded in mystery. Okay.
Shrouded in mystery.
Let's talk again in 2 weeks about it.
2 weeks.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so I think we are getting ready to move on to the next section. Before we go, Rumble, you spend a lot of time on Twitch and stuff. Is there anything you want to say to the people?
To the people on Twitch or people in general?
We're on. Well, does happen to be our first simulcast on both YouTube and Steam. If you're not already on the Steam store page, there is a sale going on over there right now. Do head on over.
Chill. But again, do you mean like new players or people on Steam?
Anyone viewing?
I do have. So when you asked earlier, advice for new players,
Mhm.
I have my version of it, which is focus on your first missions. I think that's really important. Don't just randomly chase PvP, because it's not a battle royale, and just PvPing is not the win condition. Focus on your first couple of missions. Don't get discouraged if you die, because it's fine. The game has a pretty generous economy. You will mostly progress even if you have the average death rate, even if you do pretty badly. It's really hard to go broke in our game. So just focus on your progression, and most importantly, do the stuff that makes the game fun to you. Find your own playstyle, and find your preferred spot in the maps, find your loot routes, and find your routine. That's something that I think makes a lot of people get used to the game and ease them into it, and make the game sticky.
When Rumble says, here's my version of advice, I have to say I didn't have high hopes, but that was good advice.
I mean, I'm not surprised that the missions creator says play the missions.
I would say that regardless.
But no, I think it's really good advice. That's solid.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say. Apart from that, honestly, just give the game a couple of drops, because as Jonathan alluded to earlier, I think really what makes the game stand out starts crystallizing a little bit as you understand what it's about and understand and start caring about items and start caring about, you know, surviving. That's where it gets interesting.
Yeah, I suppose at the end of the day we want it to be emotional, right?
Yes.
So. Okay. Well, I think we are about ready to head into our next section. Next up, we will be talking about anti-cheat. However, before we get there, I'll remind you to check out our socials, check out the Steam store page. You can find the socials under the bot commands in chat, ! Twitter, ! Reddit, ! Discord. Those are the best places to learn new information about the game. On Twitter right now, you can already find our first 2 giveaways. We'll be doing more giveaways as we go through the show. There is a sale on Steam right now. It started at 7 p.m. So if you're just tuning in and you haven't checked out Steam yet, do head on over. Right now, we're going to show the gameplay trailer once more. So buckle in, get ready, enjoy the trailer. Okay, so as we've set up a new scene here, we'll need to check that it's working. Also, let's mute Jonathan.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Can you mute your phone?
My phone is mute.
That's weird. Okay. Hey, Andrew, can you hear us okay?
Nope.
No. Well, the plot thickens, chat.
Now I can hear myself.
I can also hear myself. Andrew, can you hear us? Okay, cool. I think also we may have Jonathan coming up in the call. I wonder if we can find a way to mute non-video participants or something like that, or hide them. But hey, it's working. So thank you for joining us. This section is all about the anti-cheat. We will be discussing with obviously Jonathan, our executive producer, and Andrew, aka Toast, as many of you may know him from Discord, our anti-cheat community manager. So hey, thanks for joining us.
Hello,
You're very
how's it
welcome.
going? Oh, we talked at the same time.
There's
So
a bit of a delay, I guess.
there is a slight delay. This one's a call in. So for those of you who don't know in chat, Toast is based in the States. So he's calling in for us to be here for the interview. So there is a little bit of a delay. So bear with us as we get through the technical side of things.
Because we're in Germany, and I don't know if everyone knows that.
Oh, that's also true. Yeah.
We're in Berlin, by the way, in Germany.
So, I guess the first thing before we get onto the topic of anti-cheat is to talk about the cheaters themselves, right? So, can you perhaps give us an overview of who might be cheating,
why they might be cheating? Why would anyone pick up a game that's fun to play and decide to start ruining it by cheating?
I often ask myself that. I think Andrew could answer that better, to be honest.
Yeah, so there's like a few categories of the kind of people who will cheat. You'll kind of have the people who cheat for fun. I guess you can call them rage hackers. People who just look to maybe have a power fantasy or just want to ruin other people's time. Usually those people don't stick around for too long. If they get banned a few times, they usually get bored and move on. Sometimes they do, but they don't usually stick around for too long. The prolific hackers, the ones that you tend to see over and over again, who are really persistent, are the people who participate in some kind of profiteering, I guess, when it comes to cheating, either through selling the cheat clients themselves or from RMT or, like a carry service trying to carry other people with their cheats. Those tend to be the main categories you see for people who are cheating. And sometimes you'll just see people who like breaking stuff. They like breaking code. They like breaking games. They want to see how much they can break something. But that's usually the gist of it.
Yeah, I think I remember early on when we put out an anti-cheat communication, we sort of reached out to the breakers, right? To be like, hey, if you like breaking the game, help us out, right? So they're not all evil.
Yeah, I actually have a few who reach out to me who they'll be, hey, I found this exploit. They maybe break it for a bit and they enjoy it, and then once they get bored, they send it to me, and mutually beneficial, I guess.
Yeah, of course. So obviously the next question as we progress down this thought train is, well, okay, we have cheaters. What are we doing about it?
Oh, quite a lot. I mean, many months ago, back in closed beta, we did a great deal. We worked on implementing BattleEye, kind of first line of defense, and we went over a lot of our backend code just to make sure it was more protected. And that wasn't enough. And I think we've been on a period of learning, to be honest. It's maybe we should have known more about it, but the honest truth of it, we weren't that experienced in how to deal with the cheating issue, and we have to go to anti-cheat university and do a fast track course. And yeah, I put together a team really focused on it. I think that's probably the biggest thing we did, is really just putting a team together who are totally focused on it, and giving them the kind of enough engineering resources. But a really crucial part of it is also on the community side, and on the like we call it operational, on the operational side, and that's what Andrew's like very deeply into. There's a lot of other things we've been doing recently, and we promised a bunch of stuff when we put out a dev diary video like a month or so ago, where I was talking about all these things we were going to do, and I'm so happy that season 2 we did all of those things we said we were going to do, and we did something in addition, and that's the trusted matchmaking, which is also huge because so many people, like, we're gonna find them and we're gonna ban them, but you can just make a dummy account and be back in the game right away, right? So, and Steam does have like a trusted status, and we can use that, and we do something similar in the Epic Game Store. So then they can going to be playing the game. If you're not trusted, not necessarily a cheater, but you're going to be not playing with those who are trusted. So, and there's other things, the things we said we promised we do, ping restrictions, and oh my word, I can't remember all the other stuff we did. Or I can't, that's more to the point, like, I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to talk about.
Another obvious one is the maps, right? Crescent Falls is now locked
Yep.
behind, you have to be
Oh
trusted
yeah,
with the
there's
factions.
major gameplay or like changes to the actual game just to make it harder. But yeah, Andrew,
Yeah, I can get
what else
more
did we do?
details on that stuff. For me, I'm most excited for both the map locking and the trusted player systems. Like you said, those don't help with they don't help with actually eliminating cheaters, but one of the biggest issues we had in season 1 was that our ban methods actually worked pretty good. They, at least compared to the rest of the PC gaming market, the issue was there was very little stopping someone who got banned from just dodging the ban, making a second account, and then getting right back into the action. Which the trusted player system and to some extent the region locks, or sorry, not the region locks, the app locks, help address that quite a bit, because now, like I said, it's not impossible for cheaters to make it into these brackets, but it's significantly more work, and if they're getting banned multiple times a day, it's suddenly going to be significantly more tedious and more of a waste of their time to try to keep getting into these high-level lobbies, which I'm pretty excited for, because I think it will help the actual anti-cheat part shine a lot more than it did before.
We see it in the numbers. Like that's another thing that we had to learn, and we've had to really put resources behind, is the reporting part, just to actually know what the hell is actually going on. And the numbers are so promising, and we just got to keep at it. We've got a great team working on it. The anti-cheat team are doing fantastic work, and you can it's quite drastic difference. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a problem that really only revealed itself like at the start of season 1, right? Or the preseason rather, so it's only a 3-month-old problem. And I feel like we've done a lot to combat it in a short time. How has that been for you?
Oh, do I look tired? Yeah, for me it's one thing, but there's a lot of, honestly, a lot of work from a lot of different disciplines, but it's a great deal of work that goes on the engineering side to make this all possible. Yeah, some of the features we've done are actually quite design heavy, so game design had to think about how those things would work, and QA has to test everything, community management, everything they have to do. So many people had to work on this, and in some ways it's a huge bummer, because we would like to, all those people would like to work on making the game great, but it turns out that, you know, stopping this cheating issue is kind of just making the game shine, and it's the most important thing we can do. So we look at it as priority number one. Like really, I mean, we talk about it a lot as priority number one, so it's not a joke. Yeah, that, and I have to just give a shout out to Reconnect as well. I know it's not cheating, but it was a massive, hard, like it's a difficult feature to do when you didn't build a game with it in mind, and that was my bad that we didn't do that. I'm very happy that we managed to pull that off, especially as we had some crashes yesterday, and it would have been way worse without it.
Yeah, I saw someone in chat speculating that maybe we'd designed these crashes just to test the Reconnect feature. My comment was, yeah, we hate to have
Let's
a
go with
smooth launch. But we talked about the community management side of it, and that's something that we've developed through the season as well, right? I mean, Toast, I imagine at the beginning of the season, your DMs were interesting.
Yeah, I think at one point I reached, before I ended up clearing them, before I gave up and cleared them to get a fresh start, I had 2,600 unread DMs, and that was with me checking them every day. So it was pretty bad for the start of season 1. But at this point, I'm only getting quite a bit less than that, so I'm actually able to keep up with them again for now. We'll see how it goes over season 2. But yeah, the community side was a whole lot of reviewing manual reports, especially when the anti-cheat wasn't as good and we weren't able to keep people out of the game as easily. It was just a whole lot of manually reviewing reports to try to do damage control best we could. This season, we haven't had to do a whole lot yet. The anti-cheat itself and the fact that it's much harder for them to keep making more accounts has has really kept them at bay for now. So we'll see how it goes. But so far, we've been very happy with the current trend.
And we got a lot more stuff coming out soon, so we'll just keep at it. We know that it will just keep on going on, and we just need to show that we're in it for the long haul, and just, you know, as Andrew mentioned earlier, just make it as tedious as possible. So yeah.
Yeah, really. Someone else on our dev team said this, and I thought it was a great analogy. When it comes to stopping cheaters, you don't really. Your goal isn't to get rid of all of them or make it impossible for them to play, but it's kind of like when you're trying to escape a bear. You don't have to. You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than whoever's next to you.
Oh my word.
And it kind of works the same way in game development. If the cheaters find it too difficult or too tedious to cheat in our game, they'll head off to some other game that's more profitable or easier to cheat in, because it's just going to be too much work. So that's our that's our real goal: is make it tedious, make it too difficult, and eventually they'll give up.
So I guess a question for you, Toast. If a player does come across a cheater this season, what's the best way to report? Is it to go straight to your DMs and say, "Hey, Toast, here's a clip. Someone's cheating on me." What should they do?
Ideally, we're trying to move as much as we can to the in-game reporting tool. We're hoping to improve on that tool, hopefully somewhere along the line in season 2. Ideally, we're going to move everything there. If you have video evidence, the in-game reporting tool doesn't work very good. So we have in the Discord server a forum. It's the reports and appeals channel. You can put a clip to YouTube or whatever in there if you have a unique case of someone you think you might be a cheater and you want us to see it. We usually view that form within 24 hours of a ticket being made, generally speaking. So
Awesome. That's surprisingly fast turnaround, actually, if your DMs are 3,000 fig.
well, it's more than just
Well,
me, yeah, helping on that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I've seen with the reconnect feature is a lot of clips of people somehow surviving the storm, somehow
I saw that
dying.
today.
You saw that one?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that today. Markstrom, right?
Yeah. The theory we have is maybe the evac ship shielded him a little bit.
It looked like that.
Yeah. Because like he only got one bolt of lightning, and it's like
Yeah, I
it's
was
quick.
surprised.
Is it that quick?
I was surprised.
Yeah.
The reconnect feature is a game changer, and it's even if we do everything like perfectly on the infrastructure side, and it's not really possible because all sorts of things can happen, not just on our end, but even potentially with our hoster. There's still going to be people who want to play the game and they just have slightly dodgy internet connections, and yeah, if you don't have reconnect, it just feels so bad. And of course we make mistakes. Like yesterday, we actually was kind of, because we're pushing anti-cheat topics so hard, that caused something to cause that crash yesterday. So at least know that it was because of our anti-cheat efforts. So it's kind of shows you how hard we're pushing on that front.
No one can
And
play.
without
No
a
one can cheat.
reconnect, oh, could you imagine yesterday without a reconnect? Oh my word!
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
that
in a
was
good place
that
there.
was a pretty promising anti-cheat feature we were testing, but it is also very powerful, and that power worked against us.
Yeah,
yesterday.
exactly. But it's not going away forever. It's coming back soon. It just needs a bit more
Exactly.
time
Yep.
baking in the oven.
It was too potent.
Yes.
Came in
Yeah,
too strong.
exactly.
Was it even its final form?
No, actually, it was an early test, so to speak, of it. So we'll see.
Awesome.
But in general, we are going to be a bit more careful about those type of things. So lesson learned, it's not something to roll into a major release. So there'll be more things that we do fairly silently or with small maintenance, like between patches, and not putting it together with a big release. Of course, we just really wanted to make sure we were protected as possible for the season 2 launch. So
Yeah,
but
we
still,
really
we need to be a
tried to
bit more careful about
squeeze.
that.
Yeah, we tried to squeeze whatever we could in for season 2, and unfortunately, that one was a little bit too much squeezing. But we got quite a bit of other stuff in, and that should carry us pretty good.
Necessary squeezing, though, I think. I mean, when you look through like the Steam reviews and things like that, it's like every other one mentions cheating. It was a big problem in season 1. So I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you look at the Steam reviews far more than I do.
yeah, I look at them a lot, and yeah, I guess we're getting to the point now. if you look at it like the last days of Steam reviews, it's really not about cheating, it's about other topics. And that's where we want to be at, right? So we're always going to make mistakes. We're going to do things that maybe we should have discussed more internally. I mean, a big one in the community at the moment is heavy melee and sprinting, for example.
We
And
touched on that a little earlier.
yeah, pretty sympathetic to that one, to be honest. And yeah, there's other issues with the Forge, and um, it's just game development. It's how it goes, and it's more like how do you react to it? Are you stubborn about it, or do you kind of just learn from it and adjust and make some necessary changes? And that's kind of the story of anti-cheat and anti-cheat efforts as well. But I really would love to be in a position to move the conversation onto, not, I don't mean right now, but I mean in general, like away from cheating to all the other kind of problems, but also opportunities and cool things we're going to do in the future.
Yeah, because that's right.
Yeah.
Right? We took we didn't do a lot of hires for the anti-cheat team. We just dedicated a lot of resource to it, right?
We did,
So,
yeah, we did, but I don't see that changing because I think it's so critical that that team um, is properly staffed and also that they have the time to get really deep into it. So I don't think it would make sense, for example, to rotate people in and out of that team too much. It makes more sense that they're just really focused because this stuff goes pretty deep. So the rabbit hole is pretty deep.
Definitely. Yeah, I think speaking of Steam reviews, I think in season 1, some of the most painful reviews that I saw were when people would say something along the lines of, the whole game is amazing, I'm having so much fun, but the cheaters completely ruin it for me and I don't want to play anymore. I think that's, in game dev, that's probably one of the last things you want to hear, is that something is
close.
being ruined that's not even necessarily something you did, it's something other people are doing to your game, which is,
Yeah.
that's not something you want to hear. So I'm glad it seems we're moving away from that with season 2 and getting more towards normal game dev complaints instead.
Yeah, totally.
because it was a surprise for us as well, right? Like I remember because we did have an old live game,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't an issue, right? Or to a much lesser extent.
Yeah, I mean, high stakes, extraction shooter, free to play, difficult mix.
It's a melting pot, right?
We really
Difficult
chose the
mix.
worst combo
Yeah.
for cheating.
So I think it's just so much more obvious in this type of game and so much more painful. So and this this version of the cycle, the old version of the cycle will always be close to my heart. I've worked on this project effectively since 2016 because that's when we started doing the pitch jam and stuff like that. And I love the old version of the game, but this one is something else entirely. And of course, if a game is more popular, it's going to attract more of everything. And yeah, it's definitely attracted that that aspect of the community that we don't like so much. But it kind of validates in a way that your game's popular, but we just can't be stuck with that reputation. And I'm really happy when I look at the numbers, saying how many cheers we have per population, and these are of course not absolutely correct because you can't 100% know who is cheating, but it's way lower than 1%. So it's it wasn't the case a few months back. So.
And is there a, like you say about the detection of cheats, is there a bit of like we've all got that friend, right, who dies and is like, oh, they must have been cheating.
Yeah.
Is there like a perception versus reality thing going on?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Andrew could talk about that better.
Yeah, so I mean, there was definitely a reality in season 1 for sure. I'm not going to try to downplay the fact that there was way too many cheaters over the course of season 1, but that doesn't mean that all of the cheater reports we get are correct either. I certainly get my fair share of reports that are just someone getting wrecked, or maybe not even that, just someone getting killed in the normal way. But for the most part, I think the most promising thing I've seen this season is, out of all the reports I'm reviewing, a much higher percentage of those reports have become like non-cheating reports. Like I'm just looking, and it's just a normal engagement. Versus I feel like in season 1, a lot more of the reports I was getting was legitimate cheaters a lot of the time, and that has gone down quite a bit. Just something I love to see. I mean, it wastes my time a bit, but but yeah.
Yeah, there's like things we could do in the future. I mean, it would be a lot of work, but things like kill cams, it would help the player kind of better judge, okay, it wasn't a cheater or it was a cheater. But these are really substantial developments. It would be easy.
Need like another season to develop them and get them in as well.
Yeah, or two. Yeah.
So I guess in summary then, it's going to be an ongoing battle. We're going to continue to develop these anti-cheat things to stay ahead of the game.
We're succeeding
And we're
in that
succeeding.
battle.
Yeah, and we're succeeding.
We've made pretty substantial progress so far.
Yeah.
Hopefully more to
So-
come.
Toast, is there anything else that you would like to say to the players?
Keep the reports coming. I mean, I don't mind getting them. Sometimes they get missed in my DMs. I know a lot of people try to reach out to me directly. Can't always see them. I just don't always have the time. But that Discord forum I talked about has a whole team that looks at it, and same thing with the in-game reports. We have a whole support team that checks those out. It's someone's more likely to get banned if they get reported. If they don't get reported and they don't get detected, it's hard for us to find them. But so reports help us catch those ones that the system doesn't catch automatically. That would be my main takeaway that I'd want players to know, is that we do see reports and they do help quite a bit. So
Absolutely. So report. Use the in-game tool. If you have video evidence, also follow up. Head to the Discord channel. It was called, Andrew.
it's reports and appeals, I believe, in the Discord server.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think we're about ready to head on to the next section. So before we do that, let's talk to chat a little bit and maybe get ready for another giveaway. So what's we got going on here? Haven't seen a single cheater yet, Toast. I've got nothing to complain about. Yeah. Hey, Ducky. Thank you. That's nice. Twitch drops? Twitch drops? Who's talking about Twitch drops? No, we will be talking about Twitch drops shortly. As I scroll down. Had no cheaters so far. Talk about stream sniping. Stream sniping's a difficult one. When we can prove it, then it's something that we'd like to be hard on. But as I scroll down, oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. It's something that we'd like to enforce harder, but it's all about proving it. You need the clips. So it is time for another giveaway. This time, giveaway number 3. We'll be heading on over to Twitter once again for the next giveaway. That'll be going live very soon. This time around, up for grabs is 1 elite pack, 10 specialist packs, and 15 initiate packs. So head over to Twitter. You will find an event there where you will need to follow the channel, retweet the stream, possibly come and follow our Twitch channel or follow the Twitch category. Maybe also head over to Steam. Talking of Steam, there is a store sale on right now today as of this stream. So do head over there and check it out. 1 elite pack. That is correct. That is correct. So head on over. Can we take smoke off of landing so we don't get spawn camped? Are people smoke bombing you? Oh, I see what you mean as you come down. Yeah, no, that's part of the fun, I think. There have been changes, though, this season with regards to the maps and the spawn points. I noticed that a couple of the spawn points were moved a little further apart if you look through this patch notes to try and prevent that where we were seeing that as a problem. So that is something we're tackling, not in the way you're saying, but we are tackling it. Yeah, so head over to Twitter. I don't go to Twitter for the sake of my mental health mood. Can we? Oh, we're just making requests at this point. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing then. So, like I say, head over to Twitter for the next giveaway. That should be live now. Next up, we are joined once again by Dan, our creative director, and Mando, our activity game designer aficionado, to talk about the latest thing. So, already in the trailer and in streams, we've seen a new strange thing on map 3. Some people have even started showing us how it works. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, so previously we've kind of said we've hidden a thing. Tonight we wanna kind of reveal what it actually is. Some of you will have to play for a bit to get to kind of start interacting with it. But so, in the depths of the caves of Theris Island, and you're gonna have to search for it. It's not easy, we've hidden it. There is a thing we call the Alien Forge. And that is basically an ancient piece of alien technology which lies dormant. We're not going to tell you exactly how it works. Let's just say that under certain conditions it might come alive. And it's up to you to kind of unravel how it works and how you can benefit from it. And I'm not going to say exactly too much, but let's just say you can put things in it and things may come out of it.
Cooler things than you put in.
Cooler things than you put in. And this
Crucial.
crucial, yes. And what we've introduced together with this feature is kind of a new way to look at gear, which is gear perks. So especially defensive gear can now come with up to 2 perks, and you have ways of influencing what they would be. So what we kind of want to have is late game players going down in these very dangerous caves, interacting with the forge, and hoping to get what fits their playstyle the best.
Of course. And as we talk about play styles, having this ability to tune your perks, that must have a huge effect on the gameplay.
We hope so. I mean, we talked about it before a bit, how we see the kind of gear meta developing over a season, and I think we're going to see that even stronger this time, being adding this new component. So defensive gear, first of all, you can get it of a higher rarity, and yeah, then there's this new kind of dimension to it, which isn't about defense, but a lot of other things, and even wanting to get your combination of your 2 perks per piece of gear.
And at a high level, what we want to achieve with that is, so far we've been a little bit under-delivering on the whole aspect of tinkering with your loadout a little bit. Shaping really your playstyle, finding what you care about, covering your weaknesses, your blind spots, whatever, specializing a little bit. And these are the things that we hopefully allow players to do a bit more with this.
Yeah. And of course, because we're the Cycle Frontier, which is all about tension and drama, we didn't just put a tinkering bench on the station. We hid it in a dark cave where you want to bring a flashlight and other players are there to take your stuff.
Of course. So the only way to get access to this new end game stuff is through map 3. So
yes,
I imagine at the moment, as not many have unlocked it, maybe it's a little bit of a fast track to success, but it won't always be that way.
Well, hopefully not. That's certainly not the intention. So like I said, we're going to have to look at the risk and reward and the cost in using it. That's something we're going to have to look at either way, but we're definitely going to see the PvP threat in this map going up, that's for sure.
Yeah, and also we're still tinkering, of course, with every single aspect of this whole activity, whatever you want to call it, this whole mechanic, this device, and one of the prominent tuning knobs there is, of course, like the investment, what you're risking. So that's also something that's going to be subject to change, of course. So however it plays right now is obviously not going to be the final version of it.
Of course. What are you most excited about seeing? Either in gameplay or in just like something that you've created and you get to see people do it? What are you looking forward to the most about the Forge affecting the cycle?
I really want jackpot moments that then end in disaster. That's my favorite. Someone getting exactly the thing out of the thing that they really wanted, and then instantly getting jumped afterwards, and just closing their stream, raging, and then being back online an hour ago later. That's the kind of stuff that I really like, just emotional roller coasters. I'm also a big fan of just cool, emergent, like unpredictable social stuff. So around the new device, I hope there's going to be situations, where I might get something out of it that I don't need, I don't like, but I hear you tapping around in the dark, and I might go like, "Yo, you want this?" That kind of stuff.
You sound like a rat hiding there in the shadows. I just got a rat.
Why do you linger in the shadows? But yeah, so overall, just people being people around the new device is going to be really interesting, and most importantly, in an environment that is so tense that every single interaction between players is going to be twice as meaningful and twice as tense and stressed, and which makes everything more interesting.
And twice as surprising when they're nice about it as well,
Yes.
right? Just increasing that emergent social aspect. We've already seen people doing giveaways on streams of giving away items as they've sped run to the forge. Like, do you think that will continue into the season, or?
I mean, I kind of, well, yes and no. I mean, it's I like when players get to use what the tools we give them in surprising ways. So in that sense, yes, I certainly don't want forged gear to be so abundant that people feel that they can give it away. I'd rather have it, be so meaningful that I actually got out with this thing. I'm scared to even bring it in match.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. How about you, Mende?
Same answer, to be honest. I'm really just looking forward to seeing how it behaves in like two weeks or so, when the broad mass of people gets to experience it, and yeah, I want people to care about the stuff that they get out of it, obviously, and I want it to be like the prized possessions some of the prized possessions in our game, and also most importantly, in terms of what it allows you then to do, not just as a valuable item that you get, but oh, I got the whatever the armor that it gives me that power, and now I feel like I'm finally ready for this part of the game, and I can maybe do my campaigns on map 2 more easily, my quest lines on map 2 more easily, because I did this beforehand or something like that. That's the kind of it just makes it meaningful to get your hands on this gear.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to as a player. I played season 1 almost exclusively solo, and I am looking forward to using the gear from Terrace Island when doing the dungeon, because that was certainly a challenge as a lone wolf.
Oh yeah, we were talking a little bit about that earlier as well, right? The solo run dungeon stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
That put a whole new thing on the people who are doing speed
I did
runs
not
and
get
stuff.
to the place in my prospecting career where I was doing speed runs of the dungeon.
Oh,
Let's just put it that
well,
way.
hopefully you can pick it up this season.
Yeah,
with
exactly, with
new
the Tharis gear this time.
Yeah,
This time.
and the new Tharis gear, as Dan called it, is going ideally it's going to put like a really cool twist on already existing content, right? Like doing a laser duel is going to be much cooler if you have alien enhanced superpowers. That's essentially, heightened abilities, whatever you want to call it. I think it's going to make it everything much more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see it, to be honest. And it won't be long. I mean, we can kind of see this period, right, as like a reward for the people who are really speed running through the game.
I guess we can, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we can.
We'll see what happens in a week or so, and if we'll tweak.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of what our goals here were had a lot to do with this extreme PvP challenge and tension, and yeah, that's gonna have to take a little while until people get there.
Yeah, critical as well though, as we just came out of the anti-cheat section, and we know that locking off the map is huge as well.
Yeah, it's a great thing for the game, and I'm also like I feel really motivated as a prospector as well. I want to unlock and see new stuff, so I'm trying to blast through the campaigns right now to get to Terrace Island.
Yeah, it's going to be something we do more and more in the future. More and more things we're going to get behind different types of different progression paths, because it's going to be. Yeah, it's just going to be meaningful moments in the player's journey to be like, oh, I can finally drop to that map. Like whether it's season map 2, we gate it behind the first quest line now. Even ignoring the new content, that's the kind of stuff that like gating map 2 behind the first 5 missions, the first quest line. That's the kind of stuff we're going to want to do more of in the future, because it makes it meaningful to progress through the game.
Yeah, and the long-term hope is that the gear will change the play on the other maps as well, and bring new elements to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You got any predictions? Is there anything that you're hoping? Is there any sections of the map that you thought it's just way too hard? No one goes there. Too high, too risk. Too like But with gear, maybe they might.
I think the dungeon is a good
I think
example.
the dungeon is a good example, but it might also affect other, PvP hotspots actually. Maybe having come back from Theris Island gives you that extra confidence to be a bit more daring in like Starport
Warehouse or something
or
like
Pinnacle Labs. Yeah, so that I'm looking forward to.
Also, just the swamp, I guess, as well.
that. Yeah, I mean,
If you are visiting the swamp with chatted gear, I'd love to meet you in a dark corner. So yeah, okay, so we've kind of basically that's it, right? This is the forge. This is the big
Alien
thing.
Forge, discover it. We hid it, so you're really gonna have to discover it yourself. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing.
yeah, it looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I'm super proud of the team because every single person working on it did an excellent job on it, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, can't wait to see how players behave around it.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to get ready to move on to the last section here. We're going to do one more giveaway. Then we are going to go to Jonathan, who's going to go through some last words with us. We'll also be talking a little bit about Twitch drops in a moment. And what we're planning for this season. How much detail will I go into? That is yet to be seen. But let's talk first about the giveaway. So we are approaching, this will be the last giveaway of the stream. It will once again be through Twitter. So if you are joining from Twitch, YouTube, or Steam, do look up The Cycle Game on Twitter, where you can find information about our giveaways. This is the 4th of our 4 giveaways, the last one. You can already find a bunch of stuff that we've given away. This giveaway will include another Elite pack, 5 Veteran packs, and 20 Fortuna Survival packs. So if you don't already have those items, head over to the Twitter now. You'll want to look for the activities like retweeting, following the Twitch category, following the Twitch stream right now if you haven't already. Heading over to our Steam store page perhaps and checking out the brand new sale over there. And then you may be in a chance for winning one of those things. Again, that's an Elite pack, 5 Veteran packs, and 20 Fortuna Survival packs. So we're going to head back to the sofa now for the final segment. This feels like a marathon stream. This is a long one for us. So
It's quite late.
it's very late. It's very late in Berlin. So we're going to head back over to Dan and Jonathan for some final words.
Oof. Where to start, Dan?
Yeah, where to start?
That sums up how
Yeah,
long
that-
the months have been,
yeah,
I think.
exactly.
I guess they say it's
Marathon, not a sprint.
not a
Is that
sprint.
where you're going?
I was about to say it's a sprint and not a marathon. I was like, that doesn't sound quite right.
No.
Why not both? Why not both?
Yeah, no, it's been crazy. The season 1 was pretty much way above our expectations, but it was a hell of a roller coaster.
We learned a lot.
We learned. I was going to say some words I'm not probably allowed to say, and I think season 2. I'm just really happy we managed to pull it off, because it was a huge patch notes. I mean, read the patch notes. It's crazy how big that was, and as you can probably tell from today, we're all friggin' tired because we pushed really hard for 3 months to get a much better version of TCF out to our community, to our fans. So we're a bit exhausted. We need to recoup.
Yep.
And then what we're going to start doing is, what we're already doing is, we're looking at the major issues we have right now, maybe not major issues, but points of feedback that we have. We definitely won't be stubborn about it, so we'll react to it for sure. And then where the team is going to get to is we're going to start thinking about the next one, and the next season, and we have some pretty juicy stuff
That we do.
in store, and some things are absolute nightmare fuel. So
In a good way.
in a good way,
positively
so-
good way,
in a
yeah.
positively good way. So and I'm actually really looking forward to that. A little bit of a rest, and then talking about the good stuff we're going to do to the game
Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah, I think season 1 was crazy because there was so much about needing to react to the short term. You know, there's been everything like anti-cheat, other issues while we're thinking about the next season and season 2 and everything. So there's been a lot at the same time. So yeah, now it's time to think.
Yeah.
What do we need to react on from feedback, and where do we go in the future?
Yeah, we got a foundation laid now because it's not having enough of the anti-cheat protection in the past, not having reconnect, and some of the other issues we had. Were big obstacles, but we're kind of getting past that now and can focus on just making a really good game. So,
Exactly. Yeah, which is pretty exciting.
which is why we got in the industry in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's definitely a major benefit. And just to recap, so in the last 3 months, we've made huge waves in our anti-cheat. We've implemented an end of season event which had specialist items and lots of huge gameplay changes, really, like evacuating in the storm and all of that sort of stuff. And on top of that, we also implemented a whole new map, new campaign, like 50 extra missions in the campaign I saw in the patch notes.
Yeah.
The Forge.
The Forge.
The Forge.
Gear perk system, new gear,
Yeah, reconnect.
reconnect,
Thing restrictions.
trusted
Trusted
matchmaking.
matchmaking. Oh, it's crazy. Loads of animation improvements. Like
That as well, yeah.
look at the Marauder.
I was
New
just
sound
about to say.
effects, new attacks. It's not so easy to cheese anymore. He
Yeah.
will swipe you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
More bug fixes than we can count.
yeah, we worked on performance a bit, but we need to do a bigger push there. But hopefully we made some progress. And yeah, there's some bigger things we really want to look into. Like there's areas of the game where we think there's a lot of potential, like PvE, for example, and doubling down on sound, the quality of our sound. I think it's such an important part of the TCF experience.
Yeah.
So, and lighting improvements, we're going to carry on doing those. You're going to see improvements going out in the next weeks to lighting and that flashlight, or if you're from the UK, we call it a torch for some reason. That torch will become better.
Yeah. And cooler, I think.
Yeah, and cooler. Yeah. So a lot of good stuff is gonna happen. You won't have to wait until the next season for it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I think we've earned that rest. I mean, it
Yeah, I think
sounds
so.
like it on paper, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good times. Good times. I did promise chat that I'd talk a little bit about the Twitch drops.
Do it. Go
Yeah.
for it.
So, we are looking at doing Twitch drops again for the season 2, about a week in, probably. So, starting around the 6th. We are going to be running another 11 days of drops. Now, we got a lot of feedback and data from the first drops campaign we ran in season 1. So you won't just get white helmets. Okay, that will not be a thing again. We have looked at the data. We've got a good idea of how many drops are likely to be given away, and we've retuned it to try and be more generous, with at the same time not breaking the economy and ruining the rest of the season. So I think if I pull some stats off the top of my head, I think you're something like 2 times more likely to get a green item in your first crate of the day. I think overall something like 2 or 3 times more likely to get rare or higher rated items in the next lot of drops. So there'll be 11 days. It'll be the same as last time with 6 drops a day. There'll also be exclusive days again for our partners. If you are a content creator yourself and you're interested in joining our creator program, you should head over to the cyclegame.partner program or /partner program. The cycle.game/partner program. There you are, 3rd time's a charm. And sign up. We are not looking at applications right now because we're focusing on Twitch drops, but we'll be looking at it again very soon. We'll also be giving away vanity items on those special days as well. I can't remember exactly what they are, but I'm pretty sure there was a weapon coating, a charm, a new melee weapon, and more good juice to be had. So do watch out for the news on that. We'll be revealing it very soon. There'll be items going out to advertise these. And I guess before we wrap up today, I just wanted to send you once again over to the social media platforms, Reddit, Discord, and Twitter. I'll also do a recap of the gifts, the giveaways that we have that we've been given out today. If we could just scroll down a little bit, down. Thank you. So yeah, first giveaway today was aimed at new players. That one went live very early on in the stream. There was 5 specialist packs on offer and 1 initiate pack. The second giveaway is a 5 veteran packs and 20 Fortuna survival packs. That one went live probably around 7:45. And the third one elite pack, the most valuable pack in our starter packs collection. 10 specialist packs and 15 initiate packs. Lastly, we opened the giveaway just 10 minutes ago for another elite pack, 5 veteran packs, and 20 Fortuna survival packs. That makes a total of 40 Fortuna survival packs on offer, 10 veteran packs, 2 elite packs, and 15 specialist packs, and 15 initiate packs as well. So plenty up for grabs. Very worth heading over to Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Twitch. Make sure you follow the Cycle Game category on Twitch. And if you haven't already, head over to that store page, wishlist, like, subscribe, check out the new sale. And thank you very much for joining our stream today. We'll see you again soon. Fortuna favors the bold. Keep rolling.
Everybody wants to say goodbye?
Handing over to Dan and Jonathan. I thought I was on solo cam there. My bad. So, live production, guys. Dan, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I can go. So I guess
I did the last one, Dan. It's your turn this time.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm gonna end the way I always end, which is really just to say a big thank you and keep the feedback coming. It is invaluable to us, and we do read pretty much everything.
Yes, indeed.
And we will be reacting to it in the coming days and weeks.
What he said.
What he said.
Boom.
No, big thanks to everyone. You guys are great, and yeah, I want to play more of the game.
Fantastic.
Big thanks to you as well, Adam. Great job.
Oh, thank you. No, it's all good. We're all there's
Tired.
so much to do. Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's no time to recap partner program stuff, but I think there was like 40 extra partners or something like crazy that we added this season. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
plenty of places to get them Twitch drops, chat. That must be it, right? That must be where we wrap now. Sure.
I think so.
That
Yeah,
sounds like a
that's
wrap.
it. Catch you later, everyone. Play the game.
Bye-bye.